Hello, hello to everybody. So, this is my biggest project ever. I expended many hours into this script. This is a script for controlling Fruity loops with the Sparkly. And the functions that you will get will be, well, covering all the expected functionality that you will expect from the Sparkly. I mean, if you are using the Spark software, you know, a drum machine in which you can do very awesome things. But what you can do with this piece of gear and the script that I make is awesome. It's completely crazy. So, 3 little buttons near the knob, the big knob, are the functions to navigate on Fruity loops. So you got this button to focus on the channel rack, you got this button to focus on the mixer, and you got this button to focus on project. Okay, very simple concept, right? We can jump and make the selection in one part or another. But what you can do with this after selecting is changing the functionality of different parts of the controls. So, for example, if we are in the channel rack and we move this little knob, well, no, it's not the little one, it's the big one, but if we move it, we can, you know, jump between the different channel racks. And as you may have seen, here we have our sequencer. And this is where the things will get really good. But let's wait until I get there. This will be a long video because we have a lot of things to do with this. So when we are in the channel rack, guess what? We can add notes like this. I mean, it's awesome that with this little piece of gear you will be able to, to put notes on the channel rack, to control the mixer. Jesus, it's amazing. Okay, so I will go deeply in the sequencer in a minute. So what we have in the channel rack mode, let's say we can control the volume of the track, we can control the pitch of the channel rack selected. So here I have a kick, and as you can see, I can control the pitch from here. Crazy. But we can do even more. We can control parameters. So, and I will also tell you, this knob here will allow you to scroll left or right. And this will make things easier to me to show you how you can, if you move these 3 knobs, you will be controlling, in this case, the first 2 are for the mode of the filter, and last one, oh, I just changed it to preset, the preset. Okay, so going back here, this third knob controls shift on time. But this is not only what you can control, because if you press the select, now we have another things that we can control. So in this case, the swing and mod X. Alright, so with samples we can control 6 parameters with this using select, we will have access to the second row of parameters. Okay, so what else we have for channel rack? With this knob we will be controlling the pan, so, and that of course is based on the focus. So if you are changing to different channels, you will be able to control different parameters, right? Really great. Now kit will give access to the mixer in the kit button. So once we are here, we will be able to navigate in a similar way like we used to make in the other one, in the channel rack. And I forgot to tell you, when you hit the button of the big knob, you will show whatever you have selected. If it's a plugin, it will also happen the same way. So going back to the mixer, yes, we can control the volume from here. The tempo slider, will change the tempo of the song. So it will not change the tempo of anything else, because it was the only sense that I found to make on this knob. As we had on the other pattern, on the instrument part that controls the channel rack, on the kit also we have the pan for channel selected. So alright, so I guess that with this part you will understand the concept of this script, because you will have the most approximate control depending on the focus of your selection, and all the selections are done with these three buttons. And I show you channel rack, mixer, and browser. Browser is the first one. On project we will be able to navigate in the browser. And now I really need to start talking about the buttons, because I show you what you can do with the knobs. I didn't show you all because you will see more things, but yeah, now I need to explain you that if you hit the select button, you will have different type of options on these three buttons. So for example, here this will give access to the top menu, in which I can even go to File, New, or using this knob navigate to right and left. I can add a plugin, I can add an effect, whatever you can do here, you can do it. Now talking about buttons, this also has a button and will give access to escape, but you need to have unselected the select. Okay, so I wanted to show these buttons to start defining this second part of parameters. As I did with these three knobs here, you will have different appliances for some of the functionality that it's scripted on this unit. So okay, let me go to channel rack, let me select a track, a channel. If I hold select here, I will be able to change the track of the mixer for this channel rack. So you can see I can change different channel from here. So good time to start with the sequencer. And now I will stop to talk for a second. Let me load one sample here really fast. have seen we can make progress sequences on this part with this script, so we can do pretty much everything that we want. Let me cut this sound here for a second. So let's continue. We can also mute channel mixer tracks. We can mute channel racks, and we can solo as well. Use the solo button. We can use the bank mode, which will give let me unmute. We will have like like an FPC, so we have access to up to 16 channels, because here we have an up button to change to 16 different blocks. So yeah, we have up to 16 channels that we can use like a drummer. Okay, so there's an interesting function that you may have seen during this little show off, and it's that when you are focusing a plugin, you can actually control directly the first 6 parameters of the plugin. So the 6 first will be those 3 knobs. In this mode, and with select button, we will have access to the second bank. So yeah, that's really good, I think, but it's not even that, because as you know, it may be a limitation here that you can only access one plugin. So if you want to have another plugin, what you will do? You will need to change the slot. So as you can see here on the mixer slots, we have 10 slots, number 1, 2, 3 up to 10. So if we press the select button and we use the volume knob, we will be able to change the slot selection. So slot 0 will be your slot 1, slot 1 will be slot 2, and so on. I will change this name to match the slot number of Fruity Loops, but right now what this gives me is access to different slots. So let me do one example here. Let me show how I can load another plugin. Let's say I want to add a delay. It goes to slot 2, so I need to change to slot 1 in this case, because it's the way that the scripting understands. But I will just change the print message. And now what we have is we are in the mixer and we hold the we press this button on the big knob. We switch to the different effects. So this is the effect from the slot 2 Fruity delay, and now I can control this effect. And if I want to go back, I need to do again the same step and change to slot 0. If you notice, on the top of the below of this menu here, you can see the slot is changing as soon as I move the knob. So to go back again to first slot 0, and bam, we have again access to this effect. So with this approach, you will not need to touch the mouse to change plugins, because you will be able to navigate and change through the different mixer slots. Okay, I have shown you these 3 buttons here, but I didn't show you what you can else do with these 3 buttons. If you press select and it keeps holding, you will have access to the second part of functions. So on here we will have access to the playlist, and we can maximize with the enter button. This is our enter button. We can put new patterns like this, and select at the end, because you can jump the patterns from here. As you can see, you can jump. So yeah, okay. Select and kit will give access to PianoRoll, and we can scroll, but we can also do this little trick, and this applies to other views. If we click select and enter button, instead of being the enter button, it will be the secondary click of the mouse. So as you have seen, I have access to this menu on the PianoRoll. So for example, moving with the sliders here, this is slide to move left and right, and this to move up and down, I will be able to cut, copy, delete, you know. It's easy when you get used to work with this. Let me explain you how to jump in the navigation a little bit. So as I mentioned, here we have up and down and left and right, and since there is a limitation of the program and sometimes some plugins react in a different way, I have a code that will also make this knob up and down, and you will say, yeah, I have already up and down here. Yeah, but this is for this current selection. If you are in another selection and you see that you cannot move here, that will mean that this type of control will not be able to focus on the area that you are. So if that occurs, you can use this to go up and down. And the enter button is always this button on here, but without the select. So if you want to enter, you need to unselect, select. And let's see, for example, if I want to make this delete, bye bye, it's deleted. Okay, but you can also delete from the channel rack with another approach. You can use the erase button, and it will remove the entire sequence. So bye bye. I did the same here. And if you have seen, the LEDs also got updated. And I want to tell you about the sequencer and what you can do, because there are many things in the sequencer. Let me just delete everything. I delete everything here. I will do very simple sample. Hold on. I need to I'm thinking how to show this faster. So if I put a very simple this is not very good because it has a lot of effect right now. Very simple stuff. That's what we prefer right now to show this. Okay. Let me put the volume down. area so you can hear me while I'll show you how the sequencer works. So I will always like to use the advanced mode, the advanced looping, and it will be even better to show you this because you have three ways to use the sequencer. So you have the normal note mode like I have here, where I have 16 steps, and we have the here the counter. Let's say we have 116 and so on until 64, right? So we have 4 times 16 steps, 64 steps. And how to navigate with the steps is just like you will expect, using this. And okay, as you have seen, while I'm focusing the channel rack, it automatically jumps again to 16. So it's because it's following the current progress of the of the sequence. So we are only on 16 beats right now. So if I wanna do this in a good way, I can do it adding more notes. I can make it by 2 ways. So natural playing will be like this. I move to another, so right now we have 2 different steps of 16. Okay, that's right now is jumping, and we can add more notes. So this is the first manner of using the sequencer. But there is another way of using it. If we click the select, now as you may have seen, the step is on edit mode. I would like to call this like edit mode, and it's because right now I'm seeing the first part of the steps, so 16 steps. So I'm focusing onto this area here, this first 16 steps, and what I can actually do is jump to the second, and I can see here that the different notes that were from the other, but maybe it's better to show you with a blank of 16. So let's start normal mode. I put select, I put here something random. Okay, on this step, on step 32, we have this. I press select, and I go back to the other, and as you have seen, the LEDs didn't change, and that's intended to make you able to clone and improvise a little bit and change the the sequence of this. So